Hey everybody, and welcome back to the channel. This is FrSkyStve. We are talking today about adverse yaw. Of course, we're looking at this beautiful E-flite mall, which is 1.5 meters, which is essentially 5 feet. And this plane has been discontinued, which is a bit sad, but because it really is a good plane. Everyone I've had fly it just thought the world of this plane. We are going to, for two reasons, make this a better plane than what you can buy this originally as. There's two benefits we can have in today's world right now. First of all, we have inexpensive 10-channel receivers, which we're going to be using for this, the TDSR10. It does not cost you a fortune to buy that receiver. And the second thing is we have computerized flight, which will help you out on all your turns. I would rather have a TDR10 than a stabilized receiver for this plane. The reason why is a stabilized receiver, well, a high wing plane just doesn't really scream out for a stabilized receiver. Sure, stabilized receivers help out, especially on windy days, but a well set up high wing plane is something that more or less flies itself. The very stable things that fly, very stable planes. So let's talk about today's topic, which is adverse yaw, and let's talk about how these. Here's another high wing plane, and what a lot of people do is when they first get into flying RC planes, is they use the right stick only. So what they do is when they see the plane's wing go up, they know they're turning, and that's all they care about. And because they're just using the right stick only, they're just using ailerons, it has a tendency to not fly as well as it possibly could, and you will need to use your elevator to help you with the turns. And the reason why is a concept known as adverse yaw. And what happens is the aileron that goes up does more for the turn than the aileron that comes down. After a certain point, this aileron coming down actually digs into the air and creates so much drag that it takes the nose of this plane and turns it away from the turn. So when this is going up and this is going down, it's making a left turn. And at the same time, because of the down aileron, it's creating adverse yaw, and it's causing the nose to go to the right. And you create this ugly turn that's uncoordinated, and you are using energy, more energy you need to make that turn. So we are going to do a couple things to fix that. The first thing we could do is use the rudder. And the best way to describe a rudder is describe the whole concept of yaw. Here is a boat, and I know that we were talking about planes a moment ago. Now we're talking about boats. Steve, what's going on? Okay, listen. This is a one-dimensional thing. It's a lake, right? And what happens is you grab the tiller, and the nose of the boat goes one way. You grab the tiller and go the other way, and the nose goes, or the boat goes the other direction, right? It doesn't have anything to do with the way that it rolls. It has nothing to do with pitch. It just causes the nose to go one direction or another. That's all the rudder does. That's called yaw. So what we're going to do is we're going to work with the rudder to help give you coordinated turns, and we're going to limit the amount that
Prolonged inactivity.
down aileron goes. Oh yes, ma'am. I'll come right back to you. We're going to limit the amount the down aileron goes down, and that is called differential. So let's jump right back into Ethos. It's missed me, by the way. Let's get you back to the start here. Okay. So first things first, why don't we jump in here and let's go into ailerons, and let's get this set up properly, or do something that will help eliminate the adverse yaw. Let's limit the amount that the ailerons go down. Remember, I made such a really big, huge stinking deal about having these ailerons on two channels as opposed to one. Get rid of the Y cable. We're about to find out why. go all the way down here, all the way down, not all the way down, but most of the way down, and you can change something called differential. So when you don't have differential set, this is what it looks like. And it's proportional when you're on a Y cable, for example, that when this aileron goes up, this one will go down exactly equal. And we've already discussed why that's not a good thing. So we can actually use differential to limit the amount it goes down. We can get rid of the down aileron altogether, which is not a good idea because you do need it. There are some planes that have required 50% differential, like the Super Decathlon. It says in the instruction manual that's what it would like. It's another high wing plane. So that is a bit excessive. What I find is that you probably are best to start off with around 20%. So what you do is not even playing with rudder. You just set up differential and you set it to 20% and you go out for a flight and see if you recall that this plane is now starting to fly a little better. The turns are a little bit sharper. It just feels less like a large lumbering plane. It feels a lot smoother. You're really going to notice this on planes that are larger, like 1.4 meters and above. That differential is absolutely going to help you out. And if you like the way that is, land the plane, come back and set it for 25%. And then keep playing with it, maybe bring up to 30%. And see if you like how more responsive the plane feels. The other thing you can do is you can start working with your rudder. And all you do is whichever direction you're moving the sticks, you move the rudder as well. And you can start playing with coordinated turns. Now, we can also set this up for you to do it automatically. And that's something called aileron rudder mixing. And for most people, when I show them this, and I tell them I could turn it off, after I turn it on for them, I say, would you like me to turn it off? They're like, oh, no, this is great. All I did is I just went into, take it back what I did. I hit the plus button, I found aileron rudder, and I put it into the last position, and that's all I did, right? And it goes all the way at the bottom. I've set this up before. I'm going to delete. You only need one of these. Say yes. Go into here. And we go down to weights. And you can also change this. So after a while, 20% might do something, but maybe not enough. I kind of noticed that on this particular plane, it did better when I gave it more. So we'll give you about, I would say start off at least 25% on the mall. I found that worked better at 30%. So anyway, what that does is that it gives 30% of the stick travel. So if you have your ailerons all the way to the left, let's say you're pushing against the side of the transmitter with the stick, it's hitting the ring, that the rudder is going to go about 30% of the way. You don't need a lot of rudder to make a huge difference. So be conservative with this and it should be fine. And with that, we have talked about adverse yaw. Give it a shot. You're going to love the way the plane flies. And please stay tuned for the next episode.